On the morning of March 20th, 2004, police in rural Vermont discovered a chilling scene. A green 1985 Oldsmobile abandoned on the edge of a crumbling farmhouse. Its rear end was backed into the building, the windshield cracked, and the driver's door left ajar. Inside the car were a wallet, an uncashed paycheck, and a pair of contact lenses. But the driver, 17-year-old Brianna Maitland, was gone. No signs of a struggle, no clear footprints in the snow, no blood, just silence. And in the 20 years since, that silence has deepened into one of the most disturbing, unsolved disappearances in Vermont's history. The question is, who was Brianna Maitland? Brianna Maitland wasn't just a missing girl. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend. 17 years old, whip-smart, independent, with a passion for art and horses. But beneath her quiet confidence, something had started to unravel in the weeks leading up to her disappearance. She had recently left her parents' home, dropped out of high school, and moved in with a friend. There were rumors of bad influences, of parties, of something darker pulling at the edges of her life. On March 19th, 2004, she worked a regular shift at the Black Lantern Inn in Montgomery. Her co-workers described her as polite, but distracted. Something was on her mind. She said goodbye. She walked to her car, and then she was never seen again. The next day, a state trooper noticed Brianna's car near an abandoned building known as the Old Dutchburn House. It looked like it had been hastily abandoned. Even more disturbing, the car was partially embedded into the side of the barn. There were items scattered inside that no one voluntarily leaves behind. Cash, ID, personal effects. There were no tracks in the snow leading away. Just scuff marks near the car, the only possible sign of a struggle. But by the time Brianna's parents learned of the scene, nearly a week had passed. The car had already been towed. Potential evidence, contaminated or lost. Police initially suspected she was a runaway, but her family insisted Brianna wouldn't have just disappeared. Something had happened. With the runaway theory dismissed, investigators began to trace Brianna's steps and examine the growing number of theories. First, rumors swirled that Brianna had recently fallen in with a dangerous crowd. Some speculated her disappearance was the result of a drug deal gone wrong. Just weeks earlier, Brianna had been assaulted by a former friend in public. The confrontation had been serious enough for Brianna to press charges. Was it possible someone retaliated? Multiple people came forward, claiming to know what happened, but none of their stories aligned. One inmate claimed she was murdered and fed to pigs. Another woman said she witnessed Brianna's death during a party. Yet none of the stories could be corroborated with evidence. Police followed every lead, even scouring farmland and digging through tips that led nowhere. In 2016, investigators re-examined Brianna's car using advanced forensic techniques. DNA was recovered from items in and around the vehicle. It was a potential breakthrough, but the samples did not match anyone in the national database. Years passed. Tips slowed. Witnesses moved away or forgot. The trail grew colder. To this day, the questions around Brianna Maitland's disappearance remain unanswered. Did she get into the car with someone she trusted? Was the placement of the car staged, a message, or a cover-up? Why did police wait nearly a week to treat it as a potential crime scene? Investigators believe Brianna met with foul play that night. But the how and the why remain mysteries. Even the location of the farmhouse has become eerie folklore. Locals still drive past it with unease. For years, it stood as a silent witness to something terrible. 20 years later, Brianna's case remains open. Her parents continue to fight for answers, not closure, but truth, and perhaps justice. In Vermont's long history, few disappearances have left such a deep, unnerving impression. A teenager vanished on a snowy night. A car abandoned without explanation. A life interrupted. And still, no trace. If you know anything about the disappearance of Brianna Maitland, contact the Vermont State Police, because even cold cases deserve answers.